Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. We're talking about tech, as always. This is Tech Watch. We keep an eye on tech so you don't have to. Brought to you by networkprovidersinc.com. You've got a partner when it comes to IT. Think of it that way. How's that? Someone to help you with security, to help you with a help desk, to help you with IT strategy, servers. Yeah, all IT needs we can handle at networkprovidersinc.com. I'm Sam Bushman, Jay Harrison with me. Welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Hey, Sam. How's it going?
Absolutely fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right. It's a Grok or a Croc or what, Jay? I don't know what's going on around here.
Well, the Trump administration is going to ban the use of Anthropic AI tech across the federal government, prompting a 6-month phase-out period. So Donald Trump has issued a sweeping directive on Friday offering or ordering all federal agencies to immediately cease the use of Anthropic artificial intelligence. So they're going to be wiping it out of the Pentagon and replacing it probably with a mixture of things, mostly going to be Grok, I think. We touched on this a little bit last week. It's just interesting, I guess, that they could not come to a compromise, that they just came to an impasse. And so Anthropic, I guess, is going to lose out on this one.
So let me understand. We're getting rid of Grok?
No. Grok is going to be probably replacing it.
Grok is going to replace what?
Anthropic.
Yeah, but it's the engines. I mean, we don't deal with Anthropic. That's the company. What's it called?
I can't remember the name of their AI.
All right. Anyway, I just know there's several of them.
Angentic
like
or something. I don't remember.
Anyway, so why is Trump doing this, though? Is it just a preference thing? Is it a security thing? What's the...
Well, it's based on not full control. You know, they're saying they put some guardrails on it, and they said, hey, we don't want you to be able to use it to do mass surveillance, and we don't want you to use it for weapons development. And so they kind of made the AI where it wouldn't do certain things, and they just have said, that's not going to work for us.
That's not who we are. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
And others are saying, yes, we will play ball there.
I guess so, yeah, apparently.
All right, so whether, how it's going to work out with AI involved in weapons development, the sad part is that other people are going to be using it for that for sure. So, I mean, I understand their statement. I guess I'm just saying the play to say it won't be used for that is, I hate to say it, it's a lost cause. The horse is already out of the barn, Jay.
Oh, yeah, and other nation states are doing this for sure.
And so if we don't, I mean,
we'll be behind the ball,
right?
Yeah, unfortunately, yep.
Now, this is spying on us thing, or whatever you want to call that, surveillance or whatever. I don't know how to respond to all that because, again, you've got the Constitution, your Fourth and Fifth Amendments to the Constitution and stuff like that. People have a right to privacy and stuff. And will this be exploited in a bad way? You think?
Yes, I do. I think it's inevitable that it's going to be exploited in a bad way. It's just a matter of time, unfortunately, because tech will be used in both directions, for good and bad.
And I don't want to make this a big political discussion here, but I am interested in the privacy side of this thing. If AI is used to eventually violate our privacy, does that mean that everything I type into AI will eventually be summarized and canonized and everything against me? Will that be kind of part of my dossier, the things that I'm wondering about, and the reason I'm asking the question is because I search a lot of AI for things. It might appear that I agree with something or I'm asking about something. It's really for news purposes, or it's most of the time it's for reasons not related to me personally, but I got to be up on something. And
yeah, you got to know what this means or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to report on something, and I've got to understand the nuances of things. And so I'm afraid that if that's kind of canonized in my dossier or whatever you want to call it, tied to me as a personal thing, it can be taken all wrong, Jay.
That's already happening. We saw with the guy that committed suicide or whatever, the kid, they pulled all his search history, all his interactions, and that stuff came up in court. I think that's already being used against you. Maybe for you sometimes, maybe against you. I don't know. Depends on how you summarize it,
Well, the other concern is they say that if you don't have a paid account, then of course that stuff's used to train their engines and everything else. And they say that if you own a paid account or whatever, then it's not used to train engines.
Yeah, and you
I
can
guess there's
delete
a
stuff, I
nuance.
guess.
There's a nuance between training engines or providing information maybe to the government or who knows who, synthesized for, that wouldn't be training of their engines in that sense. So we're getting into kind of nuance or word games a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Jay, you've just encouraged me and made my day feel much better. No, but I think you're candid and I think you're accurate on the reality of this thing. And that's kind of where the problem is here, is that I don't really trust anybody when it comes to my privacy, really. And so,
You shouldn't. That's the
real
proper
IT
way to do it. Trust no
real
one.
IT people say, though, that, hey, then you just can't be on anything anymore, Jay.
Well, and there's a good point to that, but how can you actually function and be like that?
There's old people that do it.
Yeah, I guess so, but you can't work in IT and not be on anything IT
Well,
related.
and that's the whole thing. How do I work in IT? How do I do an IT radio and TV show? How do I help my clients and keep up on things? I mean, IT is moving so quickly, Jay. You can't, I don't care how good of an IT guy you are. You cannot keep up unless you use AI and IT details to catch you up on things in a hurry. Things just change
I agree.
too fast. There's just no way that you can support companies. And I'll give you a quick example. One of my clients came to me and said, Sam, we want you to do a little research study and come back to us and tell us which AI solutions would be best to help us with our email. Because, man, we're just getting overburdened with email. First off, there's too much spam. Even the spam filters don't stop it and block it and everything else. Secondly, we've got just too many emails. And the emails are, when we get them, they're way long. We need ways to summarize emails. We need ways to put emails in folders. We need ways to know which emails are high priority. We need all this stuff. Can you find answers for us? And you know what's fascinating about it? There's not many answers, Jay.
Not good ones anyway, right?
Let me explain what I mean. There's a lot of answers, but not good ones. You're actually right. 100%. Not good ones, because they either, one, cost a lot of money, or each AI solution right now just does a little teeny piece of it. So one piece is like, hey, we'll charge you $20 a month. We'll summarize your emails and we'll prioritize them for you. Yeah, but that doesn't sort my email into folders and provide priorities at all. Then another one says, hey, you can pay $30 a month. And with your live or 365 account, you can pay extra on top of your Office for whatever the Microsoft one is. What's that thing called?
The 365 suite or Live 365.
Yeah, but their chat. What's their chat thing called?
Oh, Teams?
No, Teams is their messaging.
That's their chat.
That's
You're
their
talking about
client.
Copilot? Their AI?
Copilot. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So Copilot, and it used to be called something else. And this is why I can't remember the names, because they just change it like.
Oh, it used to be Cortana before that, right?
Like people change their ice cream flavors and stuff. It's crazy. It's like, what's the flavor of the month? I don't know. But anyway, Cortana, or now this, whatever. You can pay $30 more, and it can do all these cool things for your email. But who can pay $30 per person more? That's double what Office costs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? And then you say, okay, so I came back and I found all these niche solutions. At the end of the day, I just came back and I said, listen, guys, there's not good solutions right now. Your best bet is you can write a few rules to put things in certain folders, if that's helpful. To where you can, at least when you're focusing on certain tasks and or from certain people or from certain groups or certain topics, you can toss things into certain to keep your email box clean a little bit.
Yeah, we've had filters for a long time.
You can report back on spam to try to decrease that. The more we have a button in their email that they can click on to report spam. The more you do that, the less spam you're going to get. Mm-hmm. You can, if you have ChatGPT, you can take a big long message or even several messages and paste them into ChatGPT and come back and get a great summary or a priority list from certain things. I mean, there's a few things you can do, but none of it's slick and none of it's, in all the AI advancements we've made, that's an area where they really want an answer, and there's not a good one.
There's not a silver bullet solution sometimes for everything.
Well, and remember that, and this is an important takeaway that I think people need to understand, AI is still really, really young. I mean, it's literally in infancy. It's training wheels going on, folks.
Yeah, it just came out in 2023.
And not only did it come out in 2023, but it's really started to take, massive, I don't know what you want to call it, use case scenarios in more like 25 and 26. because a lot of people just played with it at first. It was a great tinker toy. It was cool to see how much it knows. Now there's kind of a AI burnout, and people are going, okay, that's a really neat tinker toy now, but let's see how valuable it can really be in these use cases in my business. And I think there's a lot of progress being made, but it's going to take time for the good uses and the bad uses and the uses we thought were great and the uses we wish were great that aren't. And all that stuff's got to kind of happen and fall out, and people need to be patient for that. And so I basically told my clients on this, you're going to have to be patient. Right now they want a premium for everything. That's why it's $30. All I want Copilot to do is look at my email. Whoa, $30 a month per person and no deals. Over time, a lot of these AI capabilities, they're going to start to get to where, hey, they're just part of your service. You don't have to pay extra for them, because it's going to be a fight for supremacy of who's going to be your AI bot. If it's ChatGPT, hey, they'll find a way to integrate it into your email eventually where you won't have to manually paste things. And Copilot's going to have to then say, okay, well, we're going to offer it free then. And so you're going to see a streamlining, and a lot of use cases are going to fall away. A lot of companies who thought they had something really awesome are going to find out, hey, it's not as awesome as we thought. Use cases are going to go away. Other use cases are going to come to the forefront. The technology and the use of that technology is going to mature. And we've got to kind of be patient for all that to kind of ferret out and fall through and become reality. And anyway, I bring that up because even in the government now, they're switching horses. 3 years in, they're going, hey, man, we're going to go ahead with a whole nother group. Well, how many times will that happen in your business? I pray as an IT strategist to make that as little as possible. And one of the ways you do that is just slow down. Another way you do a risk-reward analysis on which technologies actually have return on investment, make sense for us to spend money on. How do we not make sure technologies we don't pay for and use overlapping technologies? It all comes to the forefront, and that's why an IT strategist is so critical. Quick pause, more in seconds. We do keep an eye on tech. All right, back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. We keep an eye on tech so you don't have to. So Elon Musk is in the news for a variety of strange reasons all the time. This is one of them. It's kind of a good news piece if you're Elon, right, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely. So Elon was reporting that, with this past weekend recently with the Epic Fury and all the military action over in Iran, that X, their platform X, which formerly Twitter, recorded its single highest usage ever over that weekend as footage and debate from the joint U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran flooded the service. They've had the highest interaction, highest usage ever, which I thought was kind of a interesting little tidbit.
Did they give us numbers?
They did not know.
Come on now. I want numbers if we're going to say that kind of stuff, Jay.
I know, and I'm sure there probably are numbers, but, it was just a post by him and just saying, and, we've seen a lot of times when they've had huge numbers, so to top all of that has got to be pretty enormous.
There's no doubt. And I think the big reason why is, believe it or not, and I know most people don't really realize this, but of all the social media services, X is still top when it comes to quick, on the spot, like real-time news. Because
Absolutely.
It's so easy to send out a quick tweet. If I want to make a statement, this, that, and even the big networks are now using, believe it or not, using X, Jay, to tip off their news desks of things. If I'm a reporter out in the field, I just send a quick tweet, or I don't know what you call it now that it's X. But anyway, I send a message, whatever that thing is.
I think they still call it a tweet, but I don't know.
They do. I'm just saying. Anyway, so I send out a quick blip, is what I'm going to call it. Then the news desk watches my tweets, and then that way then they follow up and build stories out of my tweets. And so, believe it or not, it's still kind of top dog when it comes, even above Instagram, even above some of these newer media systems, or even above TikTok. Now, TikTok's probably next because they have these. Again, they're not literally these quick tweets or tiny texts, but they are tiny blips of video that you.
Yeah, but it's the equivalent of a tweet in video, because you just open your mic and you just go live and you're just there, and it's published out and it's in other people's hands instantly.
And so people are using TikTok and X right now to really lead the news. And I don't care how big of a network you are. If you've got somebody that's in Iran or somebody that's overseas somewhere in Israel or who knows where, they can blip a tweet, bam. and then, hey, the news desk can grab it, and then, boom, I can send a quick TikTok, and now they've got 2 or 3 unique tidbits where they can be first on the news. Somebody else backs into and builds a story, verifies a couple of facts, and boom, it's out in minutes. It's because of XJ that's all happening.
Yeah, 100%. And even if it doesn't matter if you're a 24/7 news guy with people on the ground there. I mean, just to get together, to break into that feed, to have somebody live on camera, you just can't have that kind of reaction time that somebody can just jot off a tweet and publish it, So you're going to be, I think that the news guys are using that like the old telegraph or, teletypes that would come up and they just rip the news from and do it live.
Yes.
That's what X is today.
And what's fascinating is even the people who don't like Elon Musk, some of the people that are on the liberal side, and this isn't political, this is tech, folks. But even people on the liberal side, they don't like Elon Musk, but they also realize that's where the game's happening, and they're there too, Jay.
Well, and they're trying to build alternatives like Blue Sky and things like that or whatever it is, but it's just not got the traction that X has.
There you have it. I guess there's a big battle, too, now that Elon Musk is being sued because I guess when he was in negotiations for X, he felt like they were kind of playing him, and so he kind of tweeted out some things that he probably shouldn't have said publicly about it, and he kind of backed away from it. Anyway, he's getting a big old lawsuit over that even right now, Jay.
Yeah, I think he's probably got the funds to defend it, though. He'll be all right. Yeah, it's not going to be – it's not like you or me getting sued,
But they're also merging some of these technologies of Elon Musk that used to be separate. They're merging those things together, too. And the sky's the limit on what some of that stuff can bring to the table.
Yeah, they are. And especially that he's doing his own AI and SpaceX and robots and Tesla and everything. I mean, he's got it.
We just talked about the government using AI to advance some military or weaponry. And, SpaceX is right at the center of that, too, with AI, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
It'll be interesting to keep an eye on that ball of the advancements that AI will really bring to the table. And I think there's a lot of good that AI will bring to the table. One of the things that I think is good is President Trump is now saying to some of these AI companies, hey, you can't just use the current grid that we've got. It'll just melt down everybody's air conditioners and melt down people's ability to charge their cars, and pretty soon traffic lights won't work and everything. We've got to have you guys pay for and fund your energy needs. And I think there's some value there. And I'm not talking politics. I'm just talking about, hey, from a tech point of view, you're going to have to fund this extra massive need for power. And I think that's a wise look ahead, Jay.
There is, but I think there's also something else going on in AI that I'm seeing personally that I think is, I think the cost of AI is a lot higher than people are really realizing. When you have these things like OpenAI and you've got a lot of venture capitalist funding and things just pouring in. People are getting it for free to play around with it. They're certainly getting the publicity out of it. But, I look at, for example, I built one of these molt bots using Claude and using an API integration with ChatGPT where it just uses by the number of tokens, so you get charged for it. And just in a days of playing around with it, just setting it up, not even doing anything real with it. We probably spent like $6.50 in inquiries in tokens. And I'm thinking if you're using this as an AI assistant day to day, it'd be far more expensive than the $20 a month that the semi-pro plan is.
Yeah, but they got to get you hooked first, Jay. So it's only $20. Pretty soon they'll tell you they're adding so many features, and then it'll be $49.99, my friend.
Well, there's a $200 plan too for consumers that use it a lot. But I think that the real cost of AI and electricity and everything else, I think, is a lot higher
through the roof
than people are really kind of letting through. And we're kind of in a golden age of it where we're seeing it very cheaply because they're trying to get it out there and they're trying to show it off. But you may see in the future,
trying to get the millions to vet it and move it forward too, right?
That's right, and get the interactions and the user, base on it. But we may see in the future where it becomes sort of a digital divide of, hey, those that have AI and those that don't, because of who can afford it. Because I think it's a much more expensive technology than people think it is. Right now they just say, just a bunch of computers doing this. But it's gobbling up a lot of resources.
It is, for sure. Memory is the proof and point and kind of the first front line discussion about that, right?
You can't buy a good computer right now for a normal amount. We were buying these mini PCs with DDR5 RAM in them and with high-end processors, and we were getting them for
$600,
$400 or $500. Yeah, absolutely. Those machines are impossible to get now.
There you have it. And so this is, this is what I mean by it's kind of in its infancy. And it's important to realize that they've even, ChatGPT is even thinking about putting together a $100 account or whatever for those who don't quite need the $200 one, but those who need more than the $20 one. And again, pretty soon they'll say we got the $100 one and then we just roll out our $39.95 one and the $20 one's gone. All I'm telling you is you're going to see the cost of AI go up. You're also going to see a lot of things in AI that they tried to get a premium. They got a little bit too exuberant over. They're going to have to back off and charge less because there's too many options now. I can't even remember the name of half the AI bots that are out there, right?
Right.
I get mixed up, and there's Claude, what is there? There's Gemini, there's ChatGPT, there's Claude, there's Copilot, and then there's a bunch of other now services that say, hey, you pay us a fee and we'll connect all your bots and we'll just run a search and give you back either a blended comparison or a blended answer or a comparison, this answer and this answer followed by this answer, or you can combine it in a variety of ways. But it is the future to say, hey, I don't care what engine you're going to use, just do it for me and I get a prompt. And then how long will it go until we're not dealing with prompts anymore? So remember, Windows is a kind of later iteration. When we first were doing computing, I know it was dot cards and stuff back in the day, or punch cards.
You're a little older than I am.
Punch cards. But I remember that solidly when I got into computing really strong, it was just this prompt. It was called the DOS prompt.
Yeah.
Or a CPM
I did start
prompt.
there.
Okay. And then they made all that graphical.
//
So how long will it be until your quote prompt turns into, hey, you know what? All you got to do is click on 10 things and it'll get you where you need to be. Or all I'm saying is that you're going to see an evolution there too. Or you just talk to it, right? You're going to see evolutions there too that are going to be big. All I'm telling you is you ain't seen nothing yet, is what I'm saying.
Put on a crown of some sort, that interface, and you just think about it. We don't know where it's going to go.
I don't want it.
Just interface directly.
I'm off. No. All right. Florian Kastner is an author for PC World, Jay.
Yep.
And they published an article on March the 2nd, 2026, talking about why AI-generated videos often appear distorted, focusing on common prompt mistakes. And that's why I bring up this prompt thing, see? That's the reason we went away from prompts in the beginning and gave people kind of a graphical interface to kind of click on things and to reduce the likelihood of making a typo in your prompt or not being, hey, if we give you links and menus and different things, then it's better. They say that, hey, the text highlights key fixes for improving your video quality generated by AI models, such as Sora from OpenAI. And so they're already starting to say, hey, we got to help you with your prompts. I find that interesting because they've got these different fixes they recommend to make your videos less grainy and look less like AI. Well, that's fascinating. And I think they're going to have to move beyond prompts because people don't know how to write great prompts. Very few of us are good at that, right? Hold on. We'll talk about it. All right, back with you live. Sam Bushman, Jay Harrison. We keep an eye on tech so you don't have to. Brought to you by networkprovidersinc.com. If you want to check out the show site, npitechguys.com. That's npitechguys.com for Tech Watch. And they're working on putting up the videos, too. So not only will we be radio, we'll be videos also. We're working on getting Jay on the screen, too. So come on, Jay, let's get her done, buddy. It's going to be exciting to have Jay on the screen, too. And then that way you can, have two of us radio faces on TV. How's that?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, so we're talking about this AI thing, though, and there's this author for PC World that's saying, hey, you know what? The reason that your videos don't look great when you use AI to build videos is because you don't know how to feed the prompt properly. That's really an interesting idea. And I'm telling you, this is the beginning of them saying we got to move beyond prompts. Like the DOS prompt used to be, now it was Windows. They're going to move you more to menus. They're going to move you more to wizards. They're going to move you more to graphical things you can click on that are going to do a lot of this for you. I don't know if they'll get rid of the prompt all the way necessarily, but they're going to get to where they can help you with the prompt. And how that's all going to unfold, time will tell. Whether you just talk to it, as Jay said, whether it will read your brain.
That's why they need the neural interface, Sam, so they can just know what you're imagining in your head and make that happen.
I don't want that.
And put that on screen.
But you're right, though, that I'm just telling you that we're gonna see the days fairly short-lived of the prompt being the key to the exercise in AI. I promise you, write it down. But here's some of the 5 tips that I thought were fascinating, Jay.
As a quick side note, though, I don't mind
Sure.
some of the artifacting that's in these AI videos right now, because at least you can generally tell them apart. I don't want them to get so good that you cannot distinguish them anymore.
Too
That's
bad.
a little bit scary. But
Sorry.
you're right. We're on that path already. That's going to happen.
You'll never get that to not happen. I'm just telling you, they're going to get to where you will never know.
Yeah. Hopefully they're going to watermark them or something. I don't know. I mean, one thing about Sora, you see these in TikToks and stuff, and they'll post like the picture of a bear eating their dog or something, or grabbing their dog off the porch. And at first you think, did that really happen? And then you see the Sora watermark, and you're going, okay, no, that's AI. But it won't be long before that doesn't happen.
Well, and even if they do keep the watermarks in there, though, smart people will have AI take the watermarks out, Jay.
Yeah, you're right.
Or cover them up, or turn the watermark into something else. That all I'm telling you is, that's an epic battle that'll go.
And it's one thing
mouse,
you're just
right?
Yeah, it is. It'll be an arms race, but it's one thing. You're just trolling people with some dumb story or of a bear attacking a dog or something. But it's another thing when people use it for the news or current events or against people, politicians or celebrities or whatever,
depicting war in inappropriate contexts or not factual context, and the list goes on and on and on.
And that's also going to happen. But anyway, back to this. Some of the key
our
things.
prayers are that we can be wise about that technology and put appropriate guardrails to make sure that we know the truth from error. I doubt that'll happen, but that is my prayer.
Absolutely. So the text highlights key fixes for improving video quality. And one of those is to describe the subject with specific details regarding appearance, environment, action, and mood.
So, you instead of just saying, hey, you know what, put Sam on the screen, you'd have to say, put this grumpy old man where his hair's probably more gray than brown, or he's, and you would, this short guy, and you'd put all the details in there. And then, hey, the more of those details, because if you don't, then AI has to fill that stuff in, Jay. And that's what's causing a lot of this, right?
That's right. Number 2 says use multiple runs to generate variations and then choose the best outcome.
Okay, and that has to do with saying, look, it just generates what it can. But if you give it 2 or 3 or 4 chances, then it might generate one a lot more like you're expecting. So some of this comes down to, it's not that one's really better than the other as much as it's expectations of what you're kind of expecting the outcome to be like, right?
Yeah, and in video, I can see that. Also, when you do image generation on the same thing, generally, it's easy to look at a bunch of different things and see it. I do know that, we talked about this earlier with you have these AI engines that will get responses from all of the different engines and then put them together or give you a bunch of different things. But even myself, when I'm using GPT and it gives me 2 options and it's like, pick which one's the better. When it's a big text view, I don't like that because it's like twice the work to read it. Especially
and it's hard to even know the differences, right?
That's right. So where you could tell between, if you show me 2 posters for a flyer, I can tell you which one I like better within seconds. But if you send me 2, book or chapter length things, it takes me, it's going to take me twice as long to even get the information I'm looking for to see which one's better. So, but in video output,
but it's even hard for me to determine which one's better because half the time I say, okay, there's 25 sentences in each of these. I'm making this simple for explanation, right? There's 25 sentences in each of these, and I love the first 5 sentences of this one, and I love the, sentence 13 through 21 on this one, and I don't know which one I like.
And in which case,
how do I blend them and figure out which one? That's
you open Notepad, and then you create a hybrid of the answer that you like best.
I get it, but I'm just saying now I'm not even working on my project. I mean, exactly. I am, but I'm sidetracked, right? So that's kind of the problem. All right, next one.
So multiple runs to generate and see which one comes out best. The next one is keep scenes short and focused. Avoid complex sequences that increase the likelihood of error.
And I think that's very wise. And I think that's true not only whether you're using AI, Jay, I think it really helps AI know what's going on. But it also is really good if you're not using AI for people to do that. When you have complex sequences, it's very hard for anybody to track it. That's why when you do video editing and stuff, they can create things down to the pixel and very finite details or single frames of video and all that, because you can work with that. But when it's a broader focus, it's like, okay, I'm having a hard time. I know something's wrong, but I'm having a hard time telling you what. And it's even harder for me to say what's wrong and what the fix ought to be.
That's right.
Well, AI has the same problem as your mind does, is what I'm saying.
In today's atmosphere of short attention spans and everything else. They say in video production anyway, you should keep scenes short. You should keep things moving, change cameras, keep it moving up. And the longer you generate a scene in AI, the more likely you are to have artifacts or notice things that are changing, or maybe a light that was on the wall but isn't there anymore. So the more you can keep things moving, the more you can change things up and keep the whatever you're trying, the plot moving forward, so to speak, the better off, not just in regular video, but also in AI as well.
And I'm going to give people one last example in audio because I know it best, right?
Yep.
I'm a radio guy. When they talk about equalizers, they say more is less. Less is more. When you use an equalizer, you don't want to just crank up this band and shut this band down and get all crazy. An equalizer usually has a very progressive kind of arc to it. It's not crazy extreme adjustments. It's minimal adjustments. More or less is more to get power out of it. The same thing is true here.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next one.
Number 4 is avoid using text in the video to prevent rendering issues. And I find that funny because AI has traditionally had a hard time with text. It's gotten a lot better, but it reminds me of dreams. People say, how do you know when you're dreaming? It's you look at something that's text, a sign or something, look away and then look at it again. And if it's messed up or says something different, you're dreaming. And it's kind of what AI does. It kind of just messes with text. And it's fascinating to me how close AI rendering is to, or similar, I should say, to almost the way people dream. It's very interesting.
It's very interesting, and I think that's a wise one, although that's hard to do because you need text in your videos, right?
Sometimes, yeah, or do the text in post. Do it yourself if you can.
Right.
Don't have
so
the
the
AI
point is
generator.
render your video, then do the text. And that's why I bring it up is that, hey, you need text in there. What do I do? The answer is you render the video and then you put the text in after.
Right.
So think about video editing really as a series of intelligent layering. That's really what you're doing, right?
Right.
5.
And lastly is to limit the number of objects and people in the frame to reduce errors.
Yeah, that's why we don't have Jay in the videos. It's just Sam, see?
Yeah, less errors.
No, I'm just kidding. But the point is, when you assemble things for their final, that's why a lot of people render certain pieces and then they render a final because they can do a lot of these layers. And so the idea isn't to say limit the number of objects and people in your videos. It's limit the number of objects and people in the frame to reduce errors. So you can do things by layers and render pieces of things and do things like that can preserve things. You don't have to do it all at once is the point.
Yeah, you can do that. Now, I don't know of AIs that work with layers so well as far as video. There probably are.
No, they don't, but you can do layers. I can run AI with
post, yeah.
I can run AI with this on the screen, then I can run another AI, and then later I can put that together in my post edit. And now I've got clearer layers as opposed to trying to do it all at once.
I think a lot of the people that are running AI video, though, are kind of like script kiddies. They just want it to be one and done. They're not going to drop that into Premiere.
Then they're going to have to wait another 5 years till AI gets good enough to do the one and done for them that they want. Otherwise, they can listen to us and they can learn how to reduce some of those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I'm just saying. All right, Microsoft has launched, Jay, 2 separate development tracks for Windows 11.
Why do I feel like this is such a problem?
Because it is.
I mean, didn't we just go from the days of Home and Pro and what was the Windows NT and Windows, and they're trying to merge it all in to make one operating system to rule them all, right? And now we're going to go separate tracks.
But they have to because you got different architectures now they're trying to feed, right?
Yes, but I think you keep it the same. It reminds me of Minecraft on Java and Bedrock. You try to merge all that stuff, you keep it the same.
Well, and then what you end up with is you end up with bugs in one version and not in another for hardware reasons and other reasons like that, either device reasons or driver reasons or whatever else. And then you got to, and pretty soon now you got these totally different tracks and then they don't operate the same and then you can't use it's going to be a nightmare for developers, Jay. We'll get back and talk about this, but it'll be a nightmare for developers. We'll talk about this in detail and their reasoning and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll talk about Intel a little bit. They're in the news too. You're watching Tech Watch. We keep an eye on tech so you don't have to. Brought to you by networkprovidersinc.com. Our website is npitechguys.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So Microsoft is taking Windows 11 and creating two branches now. And they're doing so because they want to support the ARM architecture and the x86 architecture. But this change introduces new complexities, folks, for a lot of reasons. They say in the decision-making process for consumers purchasing new devices. That's only half of it, Jay. It's going to be problematic and difficult for developers, too, because things that used to work, you can't just say, does it work on Windows now? You're going to have to say, hey, does it work on this or that or whatever the other? You're going to have to get into the nuances of, and it's going to be very hard for software companies to debug their software and everything else. I'm just telling you, they're biting off more than they can chew on this thing, and I'm not happy about it.
I'm not either, and I think it's going to be a mess. They've tried to keep things one, and I think that's been a great goal. I still think they haven't done it with some of the other flavors, Server, Home, Pro that they have. But right now you're going to have, for example, you have Windows 11 version 26H1, and it won't be compatible or upgradable to 26H2, depending on which chip you have, whether it's ARM-based or Intel-based. That's just going to be a mess for consumers. I mean, IT guys will be able to get over it. They'll be able to deal with it. But I think what Windows will end up doing, what Microsoft will do, is probably just continue to generically name it Windows 11, act like it's all one, even though it's gotten forked, and everybody will just have to deal with the fallout.
That's disaster. That's what I mean, is that then it'll be very hard for people to, if I have a problem with my software, for example, and I'm talking to you, and let's just say you're not a tech guy, but you're using my software, then I'm going to have to say, well, hey, man, are you on ARM or what are you on? And they're like, I don't know, man.
Right.
So it's going to be difficult. It's really tough.
I think that they're better off.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I think they're better off figuring out, which one's going to be more agile or whatever. Let's say that ARM is going to be the lower end processor. Even if you had to do emulation for other processors or something and have another level in there, make it to where it's all the same code. And then you might have sort of an interpreter at the kernel level or something, or an emulator to make things work, but keep all your base code the same so that everything should theoretically work the same.
Those are great ideas. That's one way to solve it. Another way to solve it in my mind is to clearly say, look, you've got Windows 11 ARM. You've got Windows 11 x86. And so, hey, we just know we have a different operating system and it's okay. Then it's pretty easy for us to start to say to people, hey, which do you have? And, you could quickly go somewhere and see, but it's going to be a lot more nuanced. And then when you download drivers, you could say, hey, I'm downloading the Windows 11 x86 driver. Or okay.
Oh, my goodness.
So they could do it that way. At least it would be more complicated, but at least it would be clear. But that's a technical support nightmare. But you ready for the next technical support nightmare that's even worse, Jay?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
All right. It's Intel. I don't know what on earth they're thinking. I support AI, folks, and I believe AI is meant to augment, supplement, support good people and make them great. So you put AI at my fingertips, and now I know 10 times more than I know, and I have the intelligence and the knowledge and the experience and the history and to interpret what I'm getting from AI, and I can use it to really make me just at the top of my game. I think that's the use for AI. But when you try to just replace whole segments with AI, I believe you're going down the wrong road big time. So Intel has now launched this thing called Ask Intel. It's an AI virtual assistant developed using Microsoft Copilot Studio.
Wow.
Aimed at overseeing customer support cases and warranty checks.
Oh, that can't go wrong.
The announcement, they say, came after Intel basically got rid of their phone support in December. And now they say, hey, don't worry, this thing's capable of initiating tech support cases, checking warranty status. They say facilitating human support when necessary. Anyway, it's built into the website for Intel. And users are cautioned, though, that the responses from the AI might be inaccurate and are advised to proceed with caution. So let me get this straight.
That's just what you want.
Let me get this straight, Jay. I'm already not sure. I'm already hesitant and concerned and want to get it right. And now I go to them, and the first thing they tell me is, hey, we might give you bogus info.
Yeah, but now
I
it
can
won't
do that
be them.
without support, Jay.
Now it won't be them. They'll blame it on their AI. Oh, you weren't talking to one of our reps. You were just talking to an AI system, so we're not really responsible. This
And
is just companies.
we're not sure what prompts you put in, so we really don't even know.
It was probably
this
your
is
fault
disaster.
anyway, Sam.
So here's the way they need to do it. And I don't understand why these big companies do this. They have the resources. Use them wisely. Don't just stumble and smash your face on the ice. Okay, why don't you guys start a little test? And the test would say, we're going to have AI draft an answer. But then we're going to have a human review that answer and make sure it's cool before that answer is, released or given back to the public. And when you can tell me that 99% of your answers are correct, then you can say, hey, we do first AI and then but right now, you're going to get bad answers half the time. And here's what I see AI doing for me. I'll ask it a question of, hey, in this software, what do I do? And it comes back with, in this software, click on this, click drop-down menu, click this, click that. I spend 15 minutes trying to get there and can't find it because the instructions aren't right. And then AI comes back and says, I know, it wasn't really the software you were talking about. It was just general instructions for software of this type.
Yeah.
And I'm going, are you kidding me right now? And so really what they're doing is, in my opinion, is they're selling their customers short. By the time I need help as an IT guy, I don't need you to give me bogus information or lead me around the barn. I'm smart enough to avoid that for the most part in the first place. The reason that I'm there is because I need more guidance. You might have seen this happen 56 times and you have a quick tech note that I don't have. And so if you can give me that, I'm smart enough to carry it out and do it and everything else. But man, this to me is, I'm telling you, they're going to fall on their faces disaster. And they should be rolling out small tests and incremental move forwards of this technology, not just dump the phone team and crank up AI and go, hey, you might get wrong answers. That is the wrong answer, people. I'm telling you right now. Anyway, I don't mean to go off, Jay, but this is frustrating.
Well, no.
Because tech guys like me need that second level going, I've already looked at this 56 ways from Sunday. They probably have a tech note on this by now. That's all I really need. And will their AI give it to me? I doubt it.
Probably not. I think this is a systemic issue, though, a problem with corporate America in general, where they don't want to hire intelligent, well-versed people who know the product because they're expensive, right? That's going to take money. You're going to have to spend, $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 on a guy who really knows your product well and knows all the ins and outs and has been working with it for 10, 15 years to be able to answer the phones, because that they want to either outsource that to some, somewhere in India or somewhere where the labor is super cheap, but then they don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to follow a flow chart. Or now the new outsourcing is AI. We'll put it in AI's hands. We'll let them answer it. And I actually don't mind.
What they're going to do is they're going to take that tech support that doesn't really know what they're doing, the inexpensive tech support, and then they're going to do AI. And then if that fails, they're going to get you somebody like that. And you're never going to get to anybody that really knows what's going on, hardly. Ever.
That's exactly right. And what I was going to say is I don't mind AI. I actually like it as level 1 when it's answered. So you don't have to listen to phone trees. You can just ask it and you can get some basic answers, get routed to the right person. If an AI can detect, hey, Sam or Jay is a pretty expert. He knows what he's talking about. Let's get him to tier 2 or tier 3 with an engineer because we're going to fix this problem. I think that's a phenomenal use of it. But
if they really do that, absolutely. But they're doing that to prevent that.
Yeah,
and that's my problem.
They're doing it as a cost cutting thing, and really less support. That's nobody wants to support.
And I'm for the
properly.
cost cutting, but I want more support. Use this to augment your people and give me just killer. Turn your good support people into great support people. Turn your simple questions into easy, quick answers. That's what you need to do. Anyway, just saying. All right, Jay, do you want to cover this Facebook one? I don't even know how to respond to this one.
Well,
it's like,
Facebook,
what is happening?
This is the problem, though. So it's basically Facebook ads have malware in them, and then people want to complain about why do people want to run ad blockers and why do they want to, change our stuff? Because, Facebook ads are being used to distribute malware disguised as Windows 11 upgrades, according to a PC World report. So the malware, which mimics official Microsoft download pages, it steals passwords, cryptocurrency wallets, and other sensitive data. Malwarebytes has revealed that these Facebook ads direct users to a site resembling the Microsoft Download Assistant page under the guise of offering free Windows 11 upgrades. The malware evades detection through advanced techniques. It can alter its behavior when being monitored by security tools. So the malware itself is being observant of where it is and whether it's being virtualized, for example, and stuff. So
just like don't click on emails for things unless you're dang sure, folks, don't click
You
on
should
these
never.
ads.
Okay, listen.
Just ignore them in the first place.
Microsoft, I don't think, is going to be advertising for you to upgrade your Windows 10 computer. When your Windows 10 computer is telling you that it won't upgrade to Windows 11, you're not going to see an ad somewhere that's going to let you make that happen.
Well, or when you see an ad in Facebook, though, don't do it. If you really believe, hey, there's some value there, something you see on Facebook, go back to the traditional route. Go to your Windows update and see if there's a real update that can make sense for you. Same thing with your credit card. Don't click on that link. Go get your credit card, look at the back of it, get the phone number off it, and call the company or whatever. All I'm saying is don't fall for these things. Just say, I get it. That's pretty neat. Now I'm going to go look in reliable sources to see if the neat is really neat or if it's a scam. It's really easy to prevent this stuff if you think through it, folks.
Thankfully, now Malwarebytes has updated its antivirus definitions to address this. So if you're running that, you might be able to get it. It does reach some other systems, including Windows Defender. Soon we'll hopefully have this, its ability. But, this is why for just general browsing, things like Facebook or whatever, I run Firefox and I run the original uBlock Origin, which got nerfed in Chrome, so you can't run it in Chrome anymore because Google doesn't want people blocking ads. But run Firefox, run uBlock Origin, and you won't get hit by a lot of this malvertisement.
But you also won't get hit if you're smart, though. Just don't click on things and trust those ads and think they're taking you to places when it wants to deal with your financial information or your computer or things that relate to security that could potentially breach security. Again, stop, think, and go your normal traditional route and say, is it viable? Is this legitimate? Is this a real thing? And you'll know quickly. All right, we're about out of time, Jay. Next time, we'll talk about this. Researchers are finding that even some password managers are a problem. Oh, boy. How do you deal with that? Well, there's ways, and we'll talk about them. We keep an eye on tech so you don't have to. That's who we are and what we do, and we're flat out of time, Jay. So people need to go to networkprovidersinc.com for a partner or npitechguys.com to check out our videos online now or YouTube. Make it a great tech day. Thanks.